Okay, well, welcome everyone to International Week. Um, as many of you are aware of, our campus has a high participation rate in education abroad, and this is partly due to, a well-established program on campus for study abroad and Peace Corps and work abroad and the National Student Exchange. And often when people think about going abroad, they think about study abroad, which is it's an excellent avenue to go abroad. But we want to let you all know that there are many avenues to go abroad, and which includes interning, volunteering, performing research, and work abroad, which might look like teaching English as a second language, and programs such as Peace Corps. But more than anything, we want to let you know that these programs are for everyone at various time commitments. These experiences can be credit or for no credit, and there are programs for those who are in school and for those who are not in school. Speaking of for those who are not in school and just graduated, is very fortunate to have a well-established Peace Corps program on campus. So successful that we actually have a Peace Corps recruiter on campus, which is one of our presenters today, Sarah Poole. So Sarah, thanks so much for joining us. Would you like to talk a little bit about Peace Corps?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks so much, Kevin, for introducing me. I'm going to just share my screen real quick because I have a little bit of a little PowerPoint slide presentation I like to share with folks. The Peace Corps, and like Kevin said, I'm fortunate to be the Peace Corps recruiter and representative here on UM's campus. I served in Nepal from 2017 to 2019, and my assignment area or the sector that I worked in Peace Corps was in agriculture. And then I worked on secondary projects focused on women's health and youth leadership. And the language I learned to speak was Nepali. So whenever I'm talking to folks about the Peace Corps, I always think it's really important to share Peace Corps' mission, to understand Peace Corps as an organization and the international development work they do in other countries. So Peace Corps' mission is to promote peace and friendship between countries, and they do that by meeting these three goals listed here, which are to help the people of interested countries in meeting their need for trained men and women, which is what your projects are really going to be focused on when you are working in the Peace Corps. And then to promote a better understanding of Americans on the part of the people served, as well as to promote a better understanding of other peoples on the part of Americans. So cultural exchange is really important when you're in Peace Corps. You get the opportunity to talk about America and what it's like to be an American. And you also get the opportunity to learn about another culture and language and be able to share that culture and what you've learned from that place you're serving in to your family and friends back home or future work colleagues. And so why choose the Peace Corps? I would say for all of these reasons listed here, you really get to embrace change that is hands-on and grassroots driven. So you do get to work on projects that are in collaboration with the folks that you're working with in the community that you're living in. So these projects are really coming from the bottom up as opposed to the top down. And you get to fully immerse yourself in a new culture, which is a really unique opportunity for anyone to have. And then you get to learn how to build relationships with people in different contexts, which I think is just a really important life skill in whatever you do in your life. And it's central to the Peace Corps experience. And then you get to sharpen your skills that you already have, use your skills, use your education, as well as develop new skills. And then challenge yourself in unexpected ways. work every day to make a difference, and again, be someone's window into America. So Peace Corps service length is 27 months long, and the first 3 months of that 27 months is training in your host country. So learning the language, learning technical skills that you need for the job. And then after you get through that first 3 months of training, that's when you're officially sworn in as a Peace Corps volunteer and your 2 years of service starts. And so as you can see here on this world map, Peace Corps volunteers serve throughout the world. And then Peace Corps volunteers typically work in 6 different sectors. So that's in agriculture, the environment, community economic development, youth and development, health and education. And there are different positions that you can apply to in each of these sectors. And so these are just some photos from my time spent in Nepal. Here's some of my fellow Peace Corps colleagues in the picture on the top left corner, as well on the right, top right corner. That's just a picture of a training that we had during my service. And then the pictures on the bottom are pictures of where I lived in Nepal, projects I worked with. I focused working with women, especially women with children. So I'm learning how to basically do mushroom cultivation with one of my neighbors, and then make improved compost with some other women in a nearby village I lived by. And then I mentioned earlier that, so agriculture was my primary project, but then in the Peace Corps, you get the opportunity to work on secondary projects that can be related to your primary project, but don't necessarily need to be. So these are just a couple of projects I worked on with other volunteers and folks in the community to develop a project. With the photo on the left is a project focused on working with women with children. So working with mothers to promote nutrition sensitive agriculture and sanitation promotion. And then the picture on the right is a youth leadership camp that I organized with other volunteers and community members too. And so this is a picture of a bunch of students from the region that we were living in who participated in this camp. And so there are a lot of different challenges and benefits that come with service. Some of the biggest challenges would be time commitment, getting used to new cultural norms, learning a new language, living in different conditions than you're used to, and then experiencing isolation. And a lot of that comes from just learning a new language, as well as being in a new culture. And then there are many benefits as well. Again, building relationships is a huge benefit. Learning how to build better relationships with people you work with and you live around, gaining an understanding of another culture and language, gaining new perspectives, developing new skills. You do get a readjustment allowance after you complete your service term with the Peace Corps. And it can be a really great resume builder. You do qualify, I should say, for graduate school benefits, and you get to learn to create sustainable projects, which can be transferable to any job that you have in the future. So that's my little presentation on Peace Corps. That was kind of a quick little overview. But if anyone has any questions or wants to reach out to me, you can get a hold of me by email at peacecorps@umontana.edu, or find me in Lamason Building 187 for now. Yeah, and you can also find more information on Peace Corps' website at peacecorps.gov. So I will pass it on to, I'm not sure, Kevin, if you were going to speak next. I'm going to stop sharing my slide.
Well, thank you,
Yeah.
Sarah. I manage a work abroad program on campus, and I'm just going to share a screen as well. I'm going to start off with a quick video here as an introduction to the program.
Namaste. My name is Joseph Carlson. I am a student of exercise science and global public health at the University of Montana in Missoula, and I am doing an internship in India, a place called Loni, Maharashtra. It's a little village just east of Mumbai, and I am doing an internship in health and medicine and global public health with CSM, Center for Social Medicine here, and they work to bridge the gap between the rural community as well as the medical college that's currently here. And my responsibilities include observation and evaluation of their methods and what's going on, and see if there's any things that can be changed or made better. And I'm also responsible for doing a little project to work with a local primary school to see about increasing health education. So it's really benefited me in a number of ways. I think mostly it's a personal growth, because I'm responsible for doing things way out of my comfort zone. Not things I'm not qualified to do, but just the whole experience has been something that's really challenged me personally. And I think that's a great benefit.
That was one of our students just a few years ago, who was a community health major and interned abroad, and now is doing a doctorate program. Can you guys see this work abroad page okay? This is our work abroad page, and I'm just going to go through this very briefly. As I mentioned in the introduction, work abroad can include a lot of things like volunteering and service and work and research abroad. We work with a number of programs very closely, and there's about a half a dozen here that I send students out on regularly. And then there are many others that can do a variety of experiences, both short-term and long-term. There's also some good databases such as Go Abroad and Go Overseas. You can type in, into these databases that you're an economics major and you're looking for something in Ghana, and they will have programs that pop up. Many of you might be wondering, well, how do you pay for something like this? Which is always a concern. And there are several programs that I can speak with you about, and we have a scholarship person on campus that I can put you in touch with. But there are several programs out there that we can look at. And some of you may not know, but you do have a skill set where you can make money being abroad, and it's teaching English as a second language. Much of the world is very interested in hosting someone who grew up speaking English, and especially if you have a degree, and there are teaching English as a second language certificates, one that's even offered here at and many others that are offered around the world. And some of you might be wondering, it is a tricky time right now to go abroad, as you all are aware of. We're in the middle of a pandemic, and we're just starting to send students out slowly. But there are ways that you can get experience internationally in Missoula, and I have a list of a half dozen organizations or so. And then at the bottom here, I have some travel advisories from the U.S. Department of State, as well as has a travel advisory out right now as well. Well, with that, I'd like to introduce Kathy Peters. She's lucky enough to manage a program named the National Student Exchange Program. It, interestingly enough, was created partly at We were one of the 3 founding schools, and as I just mentioned, it is a tricky time to go abroad, and there are many opportunities not only in the United States, but Kathy will tell you that there are opportunities abroad as well. I think you're on mute, Kathy.
There we go. Can you unscreen share? Okay,
Sorry
good.
about that.
That's okay. So I'm Kathy Peters, and I manage the National Student Exchange Program at the University of Montana. And the National Student Exchange is like study abroad, except rather than studying abroad, it's study away in the USA. And I know when I was a college student, I grew up in the South, which has a lot of similarities to Montana. Growing up, I didn't really think a lot about going overseas, but I really wanted to see the rest of the United States. So NSE is particularly important to Montana students because so many of them have not traveled outside of the state of Montana. And so the thought of going overseas is can be a little bit overwhelming, but the ability to study away for a semester at another school in the US is often really appealing to Montana students. And studying away as an NSE student is often what students will first go away for NSE in the United States, and then they'll decide to do study abroad and go away overseas because they have such a good experience studying away in the US. The thing about NSE that's so great is you can study away at another university and you can still pay in-state tuition in Montana. So you can pay your student tuition just like you were going to school here, but instead you're going to classes in another part of the country. For some students, it's more advantageous to go away and pay away, which is when you go to another school in the United States and you get to pay in-state tuition in that state. So while it's easy to apply for NSE, understanding how it works can be a little complicated about how the money works. But the bottom line is you can often go to another school in the United States for the same amount of money you're paying at UM or even possibly less. But when I say study away in the USA, it's anywhere in the United States, which does include Alaska and Hawaii, but it's also study away in Canada, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and Guam. So there's a way to even get off the mainland. And the advantages to NSE are much like study abroad or the Peace Corps or doing service projects abroad. It's an opportunity to move out of your comfort zone. Again, I know when I was in college, I really needed to get away from all that was familiar to me to figure out who I was. And this is an easy and much more affordable way to do that. Going to a whole nother part of the United States where there are many different parts of the United States that are very different than Montana. There are many different cultures in the United States. Anyway, it's a great way to learn to live outside your comfort zone, but it's got the built-in advantage of you're not just traveling, you're in school. So, you already have a built-in cohort of friends and people supporting you to do it. So I have a short little film to show of students who've been away. So I'm going to show you 3 of the students. This will I think about 6 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and play that right now. Let's see if I can find my way to it. Let's see, am I sharing the right screen? I don't think I am. Okay, am I on screen share? Do y'all see?
Mhm.
Yeah, I am on. Okay, so I'll go ahead.
There we go.
Huh? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play this.
My name is Deshaun McCain, and I'm a proud alumni of the National Student Exchange Program. When I think about my experience with National Student Exchange, where do I start? Oh, man. For starters, I always wanted to live my dreams. You know, the city that I selected to attend and be an exchange student in was New York City, and at New Jersey City University. So I would commute from New Jersey City University each day and go to New York just to dream and live my dreams. You know, I always imagined walking on the pavement and interacting with the locals, just having an amazing time. And through this opportunity, I was able to do so at a very affordable rate. You know, I was spending less money for tuition than I was at the University of Minnesota, which was unbelievable. Where do I start next? The experience alone taught me a lot about myself. I'm an extrovert. I'm used to being around amazing people and networking. When I was at NJCU, it was tough for me because I had never been out of my comfort zone in that environment. You know, it's scary. It's scary to think about going to a brand new environment and trying to meet people, but I eventually did. You know, I met one of my best friends, Jeremiah Harris, and we still cool to this day. We went to a prom with NJCU, New Jersey City University, and we're on a yacht. So imagine us driving around New York City, and you got Times Square right there. You got Brooklyn on the left. It was just phenomenal, man. Music on the boat. I loved it. So that's another way that it affected me. I also really am grateful for being able to have an internship within Manhattan. I was selected as an intern for Viacom with BET Networks. And again, it was a life-changing experience. I was able to meet Nipsey Hussle, DJ Khaled, and a lot of amazing other celebrities, as well as a cold-hearted team that really cared and embodied the essence of work ethic, you know? So I would say this was a life-changing experience, man. And last but not least, I don't know if you can tell, it's sunny outside, it's beautiful in February. I am currently in Los Angeles, California. So had I not done the NSE program, I don't think I would be here today, because NSE showed what I liked and what I didn't like. So being able to realize that I like New York, but I don't want to live here, gave me the fruition into building this manifesto, my journey here in Los Angeles. If you're watching this and you're fearful, just take the steps, man. Remove fear. Fear has no place here. And there's so much more on the other side. Thank you so much, David, and the entire NSC family. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Gabe Cochran, and I am a senior at Oklahoma State University and an NSE alum. So during my sophomore year that spring, I exchanged to the University of Hawaii at Manoa. And it was definitely one of the most important things that I've done since being in college. Obviously, it's beautiful and it's scenic, and I liked going to the beach after class or hiking on the weekends. But I don't think I have to sell you on why living in Hawaii is awesome. And there are really too many benefits for me to explain in 3 minutes, but I will give you the things that were most relevant then and what continue to be relevant and salient now, 2 years later. So before I went on exchange, I had kind of the same freshman year blues that I think a lot of people have. It's just kind of hard adjusting to being on your own and developing that independence. But my exchange really helped overhaul that process and reminded me that I liked adventure and challenges. And that is why I decided to go to a big university where I didn't know anybody in the first place. And one weekend, even my mom came and visited me in Hawaii, and she told me that I seemed happier and more like myself than I had been in over a year. And she was right. I developed a lot of new passions while I was there, and then reconnected with some old ones like hiking and camping. I learned photography, which was super cool and a skill that I still have and can practice in Oklahoma too. So that was super valuable for me. But the benefits didn't end once I left. So the friends I made while I was in Hawaii are lifelong. I still talk to them on a daily basis and we keep each other updated. One of us is married now. It's very fun. And then as far as academics, this year I am applying to PhD programs for pediatric psychology, and those are pretty few and far between and competitive. So I'm really applying everywhere from West Virginia to New Mexico to Alberta, Canada, and just hoping I get in. And while I was filling out all these applications for these places that are 16 plus hours away, I realized that I never would have had the courage to do that if I wouldn't have gone on exchange with NSE. That experience really showed me that traveling and meeting new people and thriving in a new environment is not only possible, but for me, preferable to staying in my comfort zone and continuing to be in one spot. So the independence, industriousness, and confidence that I gained from my exchange continues to benefit me and broaden my horizons, even as I pursue new endeavors past college, or undergrad at least.
Hi, my name is Josh. So I'm going to answer one simple question for you today, or so I thought. The question: how did my NSC experience impact my life? I have come to a realization that students don't truly understand the scope of what NSC provides for those like myself. And I think I'm starting to understand why now. And well, it's NSC's fault. The National Student Exchange can advertise tall, snow-capped mountains in Alaska, pristine white sand beaches in Hawaii, and incredible cities like New York built to the brim with life and opportunity. They can show you this all they want, but the truth is, only you can really understand what NSC has to offer. Only you will understand the warm feeling you'll get when you receive a letter in the mail from a friend you made on your exchange. Only you will be able to scroll through the thousands of photos on your phone and the countless memories they conjure up. And lastly, only you will have a million reasons to do it all again. In other words, NSE is more than just an exchange to a different university. It opens up your world to culture, people, and places you might not have even known existed. It is a life-changing journey that helps thousands like myself step out of their comfort zone. They say life begins at the end of your comfort zone. I say life begins at the start of your exchange. My first exchange to the University of Alaska Southeast has resulted in 14 flights, 6 countries, and 11,426 photos to, with, and of my NSC family. These are the true hidden gems of the NSC program. In short, NSC has made me redefine my concept of home, friendship, and school. It has offered a life-lasting friendships, unforgettable adventures, and more than a lifetime of memories I will never forget. The National Student Exchange Program is by far the most remarkable opportunity I have ever been given. And for that, I can't thank them enough. Most importantly, my own NSC coordinator, Erica, from Stony Brook University. Erica, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for everything you have done for me and for the thousands of students that you inspired to embark on their own exchange throughout your time at Stony Brook University. Quite simply, the National Student Exchange Program in its entirety has unequivocally changed my life. I can say with absolute confidence, it was the greatest decision I have ever made. And that is how my National Student Exchange impacted my life.
Okay, so there are a bunch more, but I'm going to stop it. Let's stop it there. I'll just say that the University of Montana was one of the 3 schools that started the National Student Exchange. And the first year was 1968 when 3 schools exchanged 7 students. And today there are approximately 200 schools that are members of the NSE consortium, and we exchange over 2,000 students a year between these campuses. And the last thing I'll say is that the reasons people or students choose to do an NSE exchange, in addition to just wanting to get out of their comfort zone and to gain some independence, it's a way to take courses that that a student might be interested in, that aren't available at the University of Montana. It's also a great way to check out a job market. If, you know, when you're thinking about graduating, if you're thinking of either going to graduate school or going to work in another state, it's a great way to, you know, if you're thinking you might want to live in New York City, it's a great way to explore, you know, live for 4 months while you go to school in New York City and check out New York City. And the way you can find me is if you just go to nse.org, my name will be the first thing that pops up, Kathy Peters. You can also make an appointment with me through Navigate. And also if you go to the UMT website and type in NSE, it'll lead you right to me. And I think that's about all I have to say. Did I leave anything out, Kevin?
Oh, that was great, Kathy. That makes me want to go to Hawaii or Alaska. Carissa, thank you so much for hosting us and International Week this week. I know there's a variety of programming ahead of this week.
Yes, thank you all so much for sharing more about your programs. I learned a lot, and I know that anybody watching this will as well. So thank you so much for your time.
All right.
you.
Take care, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.